It's no secret that I love using stencils in my art journal, in my mixed media. Recently, I just posted an unboxing video of the newest release of TCW stencils. So once I get the new stencils, I spend some time in my studio organizing and putting away all the stencils and getting ready to use them in some new projects. And that inevitably ends up being several days spent re-examining the organizational systems that I have and tweaking them. In this release, we got a lot of 16.5 by 6-inch sign stencils. And I'll be doing a video because they're not just usable for signs. They have so many uses, and as always, I want to maximize all the tools that I have. So stay tuned for that video. But how do you store a 16.5 by 6-inch stencil? They also have an ever-growing amount of Slimline Stencils. These measure 9 by 4. Then they have the 6-inch stencils and the 12-inch stencils. So I thought I'd do a video about stencil storage and share with you how I store those 6-inch and 12-inch ones, which you may have seen, and what I've come up with for storing these size of stencils. But first, let's talk about what you want when you're looking at stencil storage. You need it to be easy to access. You want to be able to have it close at hand, be able to take it out, flip through with ease, and be able to put them away also easily. You don't want the stencils to get tangled. See how the bits and pieces catch? So you need to figure out a way that you can prevent that, because that may damage your stencils. You also want a system that's going to grow with you and fit the space that you're in. So you might have to tweak my ideas a little bit. Also, location, location, location. You need them to be able to be stored somewhere where you can grab it and start using it on the page. Because you know, with art journaling and mixed media, you're grabbing everything, and you need to have those things, all your tools, within arm's reach. So my 6-inch stencils, I store in a scrapbook binder with these plastic covers in them. These ones I purchased at Michael's, and there are 50 pages, so in total, because you can put 2 stencils in each one, you can have 100 stencils. Now, how are you going to organize this? Well, whatever makes sense to you is what you're going to do. I have them categorized by designer. BD's, Balzer Design, Jamie Echt, because I need to know that when I'm creating, when I post for the Crafters Workshop. If I wasn't doing that, I think I would organize them by theme. I might have stencils to group together that are vintage, or by the seasons they represent, or gardening, fall, something along that line. But what matters to you is what will be right. And by that I mean, if it makes sense to you, that's what it is, because you're the one that's going to grab it and look. And you'd want to be able to minimize the time that you're looking. Now look how easy it is to flip through these stencils to see which one. And then I can just reach in and grab out the ones, close the book, put the binder away. Now after I've used the stencils, I have a bin here and I just throw them in there, and then they sit on my desk maybe for a while. Then every once in a while, a lot of Sundays, just go and I know who the designer is and I flip through and I can put it away. So the 6-inch one, because this binder is 8 by 8, they slide in really easily. So that's a scrapbook binder. Now the 12-inch ones, and the camera's a little close for this, I have organized in the 12 by 12 scrapbook binders. So the same system, and the sheets fit in. It's a little tighter, and typically because I have 12-inch and the 6-inch of some of the same binders, stencils, I have them in basically the same order. But again, that's an organization system that makes sense to me. And as you can see, I write the name of the stencil on here and the number. That may not be necessary. You can label on the whatever color material or divider that's in there. You can label. I would use a white pen here, put the name of it, and then it has to go back in the exact same place. I don't feel the need for that, but if that's something that works for you, go ahead and do that. So these are the Slimline stencils. They measure 9 by 4, and I love the size and the scale of them and their usability. And some of these have become fast favorites for my pages. Now, I was making do, and what I had done is I would put them in that 8 by 8 binder, and I put 2 in. They came out over the edge a little bit, but when I store this, I store it standing like that, so the stencils weren't getting beaten up. You can also get scrapbook binders that are different sizes. This one, I believe, is 9 by 11. So it'll fit an 8 by 10 stencil if that's what you have, and it would also fit, again, 2 of these Slimline stencils. What I've decided to do this time is I'm going to put all my Slimline stencils, because a lot of them are very basic shapes that I find I'm using a lot. I'm putting them in these plastic pouches, and I believe this is an A5. It measures 10 by 7. And I'll put a link to these, 10 and a half, 10 and a quarter by 7. And they fit perfectly in there. And this can be just stored close at hand. So when I'm taking them out, it's a little bit more difficult than flipping through the scrapbook binder. But you can just flip like this and find the ones that you want. And typically I would be organizing the ones that I use a lot, like this Gentle Leaves one, and some of these new ones, these Crystal Flowers and this Fence Grid. I might put them in the front. And this can be stored either right on my desk, right up close, or it fits in with the binders where I have them. So what about these sign stencils, these 16.5 by 6-inch stencils? When you stack them up, they're, you know, because they're bigger. See how they stick? You need something to support them. And I'll be honest, I came up with the storage system for these by accident. As a mixed media artist, I'm always looking for something that's in the recycle bin that I can repurpose. And that's where I found the solution. I got these MDF boards. They were packing for some furniture that we have. And they measure about 6.5 by, I think, 16.5. They're slightly bigger than the stencils. Initially I thought, oh, I could use this to paint a sign. But what I ended up doing was taking all the sign stencils, lying them flat, sandwiched between two boards, and then I'm taking these wide bulldog clips and it keeps them all neat and tidy inside these hard cases. Now this can be stored again right in front of my workspace, or it can be put off to the side. And I'm really excited. They're perfectly in here. Now we want this to be easy to flip through. So I've just set it down and I can flip through the stencils, find the one I want, or two, or three, and then put the clips back on. Easy peasy. And then even after, before I open it up, I can just slide in there and be held. So I've organized them. So I have actually two, because I have a lot of sign stencils. So what I did is I organized them according to theme or usability. So I have all the Christmas, Easter, beach ones in one pack, and then other ones more general or gardening, ones that I think I'm going to use a little bit more frequently, some of the word ones, I have in the other one. And again, how you divide them, if you divide them, depends on how many you have and what works for you. So if you want to make this, what you need to do, if you're lucky enough to have access to a saw and somebody who can do that, or you can do that, you want to just get 1/4-inch MDF and cut it slightly larger than the sign stencils. You can also go to the hardware store, and some will do it cut for free, some there's a small fee, get it cut. But it's a great thing. Now here's another option. I realize that TCW sells their mixed media boards to paint the signs on. So you can buy a couple of the mixed media boards and do the same thing as with the MDF. Likewise, TCW sells mixed media boards that are 12 by 12 if you want to keep your 12 by 12 stencils. They also have 6 by 6 ones. So that is another option for you. So where do I keep the binders? Well, the 8 by 8 scrapbook binders I keep in my Raskog cart right behind my work area. I have my stamps there, and then beside it on the top I have my 8 by 8 scrapbook binders with the stencils, as well as the 9 by 12 one. And my Slimline stencils are going to be right in here. The 12 by 12 binders I store on the floor, and I've repurposed a magazine rack. My 16.5 by 6 inch sign stencils for right now, because a lot of them are new and I anticipate that I'll be using them. It's right in front of my workspace, tucked right in there. So I'll be able to easily access them and put them away. So my workspace is right there. I've got my 16.5 by 6 inch stencils right in front. If I swivel this way, right behind me, within arm's reach, are my 6 by 6 stencils and my Slimline stencils. Down here are my 12 by 12 stencils. And then on the work table, I have my basket that I put the Slimline and my 6 by 6 stencils when I'm done working with them, before I organize them. And I can put on that flat surface as a secondary surface the 12 by 12s and the 16.5 by 6 inch before I can have time to put them all away. How do you store your stencils? If you store them in some other way, leave the suggestion in the comments section below.